Okay, so we are now live and we are doing the game engine coding live stream. This is part 26 and part 15 of the gestures. So I didn't read any of the game engine architecture book yesterday. These shorts are not fitting the way they were yesterday. This feels very weird. Just don't like them. At least not today. So let's read a page turn of this bad boy. My trusty red maroony pen. Let's open up a web browser and go to here so it's a bit lighter. Okay, 4.9.2.5 test and set. The simplest RMW instruction is known as test and set TAS. The TAS instruction doesn't actually test and set a value, rather it atomically sets a boolean variable to 1, true, and returns its previous value so that the value can be tested. The test and set instruction can be used to implement a simple kind of lock called a spin lock. Here's some pseudocode illustrating the idea. In this example, we are using a hypothetical compiler intrinsic called _TAS open close parenthesis to emit a TAS machine language instruction into our code. Different compilers will provide different intrinsics for this instruction. If the target CPU supports it, for example, under Visual Studio, the TAS intrinsic is named _interlock bit test and set. There's a bit of code here. I'm just going to skip over that. It's just a little while loop with a pause method inside of it. Here, the pause function macro indicates the use of a compiler intrinsic such as Intel's SSE2_mm_pause open close parenthesis to reduce power consumption during the busy wait loop. See section 4.4.6.4 for details on why it's advisable to use a pause instruction inside a busy wait loop where possible. It's important to stress here that the above example is intended for illustrative purposes only. It is not 100% correct because it lacks proper memory fencing. We'll present a complete working example of a spin lock in section 4.9.7. Okay, 4.9.2.6 exchange. Some ISAs like Intel x86 offer an atomic exchange instruction. This instruction swaps the contents of two registers or a register and a location in memory. On x86 it is atomic by default when exchanging a register with memory, meaning it acts as if the instruction had been preceded with the lock prefix. Here's how to implement a spin lock using an atomic exchange instruction. In this example we're using Visual Studio's _interlocked exchange method compiler intrinsic to emit the Intel x86 XCHG instruction into our code. Again, note that without proper memory fencing this example is incomplete and won't work reliably. See section 4.9.7 for a complete implementation. Then a little method here in a little example, and yeah, it is a method. Under Microsoft Visual Studio, all of the interlocked functions named with a leading underscore or compiler intrinsics. They simply emit the appropriate assembly language instruction directly into your code. The Windows SDK provides a set of similarly named functions. I always have difficult with that word. Similarly named functions without the leading underscore. Those functions are implemented in terms of the intrinsic where possible, but they're much more expensive because they involve making a kernel call. 4.9.2.7 compare and swap. Some CPUs provide an instruction known as compare and swap CAS. This instruction checks the existing value in a memory location and atomically swaps it with a new value if and only if the existing value matches an expected value provided by the programmer. It returns true if the operation succeeded, meaning that the memory location contained the expected value. It returns false if the operation failed because the location's content were not as expected. And that's the one page turn done. And we'll continue with the coding for gestures. Let's move this over here. I want to go and change my shorts because these shorts are annoying me. the way they're fitting on me today for some reason. Mr. Herdingens is here. Hello. Don't know if you actually missed me on the stream or not, but yeah, I am back. Changed my shorts. These feel a lot better. I don't know what was wrong with the other ones, but they felt alright earlier on. Went to see Wonder Woman 84 earlier on. It was weak. Let's just say that. There's a few nice parts where they used some of the older movie music from Dawn of Justice, you know, keeping some of those themes in there. Whether or not you like the movie, that's irrelevant, I think, because at least they're keeping, you know, some of those themes in there, putting them in there. Mohammed Yassin Hassan Yasser says hello. Hello. Okay, so I was actually going to copy something over. What was I going to copy over? Might as well do it now. Here's going to be the Belco. Okay, so let's open up the project. GitHub. We are getting close to finish the gestures, not long now. Let's open up Paint as well. And let's open up the recent file. So yeah, but most of it's there. I did forgot to save it when I did a restart. There was an update. No, I just turned the computer off. That's what it was. Okay, so we have 3 days to go now. 3 days to go. Jane Bridges channel says hello. Hello back. Okay. Okie dokie. So let me turn the controller on. Taking pretty long to connect. I'm gonna disconnect and connect the adapter again because it's the old Xbox One controllers that doesn't have Bluetooth built in. Oh, no, it's connected now. Make sure it's all in there. Looks like it. But yes, it is all working fantastic. Let's give this a run. Let's actually see what we got up to. In the angle, blah 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 blah. Can't see, understand why it keeps going back to 1 after I go on a previous angle. So okay, so when we first run in it, distance from center, yes, the distance from center is greater than 70. Those don't get in here. Then it gets the angle. If it's not rotating, which initially it is not set to, then previous angle equals angle, is rotating equals true. And so on the next pass, it'll get into the else. Then it'll check if the current angle is greater than the previous angle, then it'll say previous angle equals angle. Else if angle is less than previous angle, then set is rotating to false. But yeah, then obviously it's just going to get back into there again, and this is just going to become true. Oh yeah, I think I need a is rotating. Love the shirt, sir. Thank you very much. Roger Federer. Is it going to be a 3D engine or 2D? Just 2D at the moment. No plans to add 3D stuff. I just want to create a really, really solid 2D engine, because most of the game ideas that I have that I can practically do myself are 2D based. I have ideas for 3D stuff, but I know that's going to require a larger team. So just the stuff that I know probably could bang out in a few days or in a few weeks or in a few hours, depending on the idea, are 2D based. And so that's the reason I want to concentrate on just making this like this epic, you know, comprehensive 2D engine. If you're rotating, you're rotating, you're rotating. How should we do this? That's the issue. Ball needs a reset. So equals false. Yeah, sure. This is what I've got so far. Obviously, you're not really going to see much in the engine. We're just doing gesture stuff, so you know, you're going to see a couple of shapes, but they're from ages, even before I technically started the series, from the little bit I did before. So we're just printing out the angle of the joystick, and that 1 is referring to if the angle that it is getting is larger than the previous one. We switch it back to 1 even if it's less than. That's what I'm fixing right now. Needs reset. Actually, no. I think we might be able to. Let's have a look at our to do. So in terms of the data that we need to collect, this is the data that we actually want to collect. I'm going. I hate when it keeps doing this automatic indentation. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Okay, so total degrees turned, that's a pretty simple one. Float total degrees turned, and we'll need getters for this as well. Add getters, add a getter. Marking Wonder Woman 1984 as watched on my tracked account. To keep track of everything. Okay, that's that done. I would like to see what the situation is with Tenet. It should be on. I'm only interested in 4K HDR anyway. Yeah, they got a remux. Doesn't mention HDR there, but it doesn't mention an SDR, so I'm gonna assume we've been burnt before. But let's whack that on. Have a look. See, that says HDR, but like, I mean, that could be HDR as well. I'll whack that on as well. We'll see. Let's just pause this. I'll handle that after. Okay, so I need to get back to the advent of code stuff as well. Okay, so add a getter. So total degrees turned, and this is only for the clockwise and anti-clockwise stuff. Underscore total degrees turned by default equals 0. So we're gonna say that here we're gonna say underscore total degrees turned plus equals the underscore previous angle minus the current angle better sneeze then. I see that there's an issue with this. Okay, so we're getting the total amount there, but if it equals false, then here we'll do a reset as well. We'll say underscore total degrees turned equals 0, and number of full circles turned. Obviously that's the method. We can derive that from the total degrees turned. Derive from total degrees turned. Total turning duration. We'll work on that on a second. For this as well, for the rotating, but these are only for the clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation stuff. So what I'm going to do is, instead of printing this out, I'm going to print out underscore total degrees turned. So we're just going to see the total number of degrees that have been turned. Okay, so let's reset after 360. That's interesting. It gets reset because it's going to 0, which is a starting part, and technically it's like, I understand why it's going to 0 now. Okay, I'll see what the issue is. Let's have a look at how to fix it, but we are close. We are very... It's this method right here that's getting to the angle less than previous angle. Here we could do some sort of check. If underscore previous angle is greater than 350, and underscore and angle is less than 10. The reason we're doing this is to make sure if we've got a smaller angle and it's basically gone to 360 and now it's less than that. And the reason I'm doing angle, doing it like this, is for the simple reason, you know, you might move it faster, you might get a bit of a, you know, potential, you know, issue. Here we should do underscore is rotating equal false as well. We should probably abstract the reset turning potentially into a method. Let's have a look. So we're going to put this under the else. Or what we could do is literally put this here and just say, or we're doing this one. Now let me check it. I probably should just put it on one line. It's not that big, to be fair. Okay, let's see how we get with this one now. So that was very interesting. We get a minus value. Getting close to 360. Get back to, yeah. Yes. So in here, what we're gonna say is if instead of this, we literally just put another else if branch and we whack that here. That might be a better way of doing it. Then we're gonna put all of this, and the only difference is gonna be this. issue here. So the safe is 355 and maybe I just need to do that. Trying to go very slowly. Oh, that works. Not at all. Yeah, the first time it messed up. Okay, so let me go back in the values. They seem to be going up pretty steady. Yeah, still pretty steady. Yeah, that seemed okay. Over here, but then at the start it didn't mess up. Another 0 par, boom. Then we get pretty near 360. Plus equals angle. Go around again. Pretty steady. Seems okay to me. Seems like that's all I need to do is that. Seems like that gives me a reasonable amount of leeway. Okay, so this is reset. Realistically needs to have this in here. I'll adjust this in here. Okay. Let's add a couple of getters for get is rotating. spool get is rotating. Const, and we'll do this. Get the status of the rotation only for clockwise and can it counterclockwise? And yes, and counterclockwise patterns. Output returns the joystick. Dude, 584 repositories in GitHub. Are you referring to my repositories? If so, a lot of them are just simple, really simple code files of different tutorials, honestly. We only have like a select few that are meaty like this one. What was the other thing I wanted to add it? Okay. Get total degrees turned. Get total degrees. Get the total number of degrees turned. Again, this is only for these ones. Returns the total degrees turned by the joystick. Okay, so we're gonna have a parameter in here. This is gonna be a const bool is degrees. Here, param. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and this is degrees, and by default it's true. Is degrees choose between true, which is default, by default returns the result in degrees, and false returns it in radians. Nope, I forgot about the visual assist. Can I just multi-select? I cannot remember if I can just multi-select and do a quick action. Remember Herdingen said there is some way of doing it? I can't remember. Okay, create implementation. Oh, I like that you put the comment for it there, so it's so you know. I always put that there. Oh yeah, because technically that comes first. That's fair enough. Okay. Return underscore is rotating. This one's a bit slightly more complex, and this is going to be if it's not degrees, then we are going to return underscore total degrees turned click the class name over here. Class name where? Like where am I meant to be? Like over here, or where am I meant to be clicking it? Oh, you mean over here? I'm guessing there would be some sort of implement method thing here. Maybe that's what you mean? I mean here, sorry. Okay, so we need to convert it to radians, which was done over here somewhere. So that's to convert it to radians. I mean, that's to convert it to degrees. So we basically need to do the opposite of that. So instead of times in it, I think we can, or is it the flip of it? Let's have another look at it. Degree to radians. By pi 180. Guess we don't need the brackets, but I'll still rather have them there. Just to confirm that's what we gotta do. I don't wanna see that we've implemented it wrong. So radians. Yeah, that was wrong. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's just the flip of it. So it's pi divided by 180. Okay, so now we're going to say return woodwind and else. Return underscore total degrees turned. Okay, so that's that done. Let me just comment these now. This is going to say track whether or not the joystick is turning, and then I'm going to copy and paste this. Yeah, I know what you mean. That a function named get total degrees turn returning radians instead of degrees. It seems a bit strange. By default, because it is returning degrees and you have the choice of it. You know, I'm using degrees as a term of rotation and not a term of specific unit of measurement almost. But by default you'll return degrees. I could add a separate method that say get total radians turned. But for now I'm going to leave it like this. Total number of degrees joystick has turned. Number of full circles turned. Oh, that's a pretty simple implementation. So we'll say number of full circles. Question is, do I just return it as a float, therefore it's not actually a full circle? If let's say it's done whatever it is, let's say 540 degrees, that would be 1.5, and then on the other end you can choose if you want to, you know, truncate it, round it up, round it down, you know how you want to do it. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Float total circles turned get the total number of circles turned by the joystick. Turns the joystick rotations. Total circle. Total rotations. I'll put a get total circles turned, get total rotations. Yeah, that's a method name is okay for now. And this is pretty simple. We are gonna say underscore total degrees turned divide by 360. Nothing more to it than that. So total turning duration time, that's gonna be clock based. Clock slash timer based. Before I actually do this, I need to set it so currently, I can get rid of this. Currently I've got it that it's only for clockwise. Anti-clockwise should be pretty simple. Else if clockwise, if I say else if it's the clockwise pattern, then we'll basically do another version of this. Else if counterclockwise, and now I guess the only thing I've got to do is swap this over here. I'm going to put that as 0 to be fair. I want to make sure this is still working with the way it should be, the current one. See if we get any errors. I'm having some sponge cake, for anyone that's wondering. We do. Is there an error that we should be worried about? Yes, it is. Oh, I forgot to put the return statement. Controller's turned off as well. Okay, so slowly go around. Okay, so that ain't working anymore. That has stopped working. Actually, no, that was fine. Actually, I don't know why I changed it. Ooh, that does mess up if I move it fast. See, I'm moving it slow, and it's okay. Let me have a look. Why I have a pretty do a pretty. Yeah, the jump is too much. It's too much of a jump. Let me confirm the other way is working, and then I'll fix this jump issue. Let me switch over to the right stick as well. Counterclockwise. Okay, let's have a look. It is a negative, but it almost works. So the only difference being the previous angle equals angle. And if I just inverse the angle, that basically just negating itself. Okay, so that's not good, whatever I've just done here. Let me have a look at it again. So it's producing a minus. So if angle is less than previous angle, that's a good thing. I think I'm just gonna flip these. That's all I've got to do. I'm trying to do the reset thing. Doesn't seem to be working this way. Let me switch this over back to the left stick. Okay, I'm gonna switch it over to clockwise again. an easy fix to this is why is it switching between files or methods or something? What have I actually clicked on now? Apparently, I don't know what the hell is that. I keep clicking. Something keeps happening, which I do not like. I'm gonna close it and reopen it. Yeah, I'm getting really annoyed with Visual Studio now, to be fair. I might just switch over to, I don't know, Sublime or something and simply use this to compile. Yeah, let's get rid of that. What was we doing? We're fixing that issue. We're gonna fix it by, for starters, put this to 340. I mean, I guess if we just do 300, we do that. I mean, that's a pretty big delta that is now. Not really gonna be able to trick that. Okay, so that's, we fixed that error. Fantastico. And now we want some sort of timer. So we're gonna have a clock. There's already a clock here. We already have a clock, so we could potentially utilize this clock. We could say, hey Sona, what do you know about building x64 SFML with CMake? I remember you did message me earlier in, I think it was earlier stream. Like I said, I didn't know much, but let's have a look. You know what we can find. See if I can find you something that might be useful. 64-bit CMake. Actually, before I do this, I'll Google that. What OS are you on? Like as well. What OS? So help me out with that. Okay, so it's the clockety clock. I mean, realistically, I think we should put this in here. And we're gonna say in here _clock dot reset. Could that actually work? Just that? Clock. Do we have a method to return the clock? Clock. Get clock. And let's try that. Get the gesture clock, returns the clock. And now let's create an implementation. I'm going to say return _clock. Okay, so let's have a look at splash state and let's do something in here. So what I'm gonna do, apparently don't like that for some reason. Built it, let's see if we get an error. table reference to non-static member. Is that what it was? Let's build that. Windows 7, okay. Give me a second. I'll have a look at that in a second. Splash state. We'll say gesture get clock dot get elapsed time dot as seconds std end now. Let's put the start in std colon c out and instead of actually printing this out. We are so close now, so close to finishing the gesture class. Okay, so that seems alright. Don't seem too bad. Okay, apart from 70, there's really no other hard-coded values, and apart from 360 range. But apart from that, it's all looking pretty good. I mean, within that section, with some hard-coded values here. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so we're done. I mean, that was a long journey. But you know, we produce a nice chunk of code. Let's build it. Let's commit this bad boy. Let me help bank 21 kilohertz as well once I start the commit. Gestures complete. Version 1. I'm sure we'll add more to it after. That's the gestures done. Next is dead zone on analog stick. So we're still, you know, doing input stuff. Your motivation scares me. Let it, you know, drive you. Let it encourage you. And trust me, my motivation wanes as well. There are times, because you know these live streams, I want to get them earlier throughout the day. Today, for this sort of time, I've got a reasonable amount of energy. Usually by this sort of time, my energy is a bit weak, and doing stuff like coding project like this or anything intensive on the brain, I'll find it difficult. But I just say to myself, just whack the stream on, just do half an hour, whatever it is, just do a little bit, even if it's not that productive. Do it so I'm in the habit of doing a stream, because I want to make sure I do a stream pretty much every day. I won't be doing a stream on Saturday, I'm being married that day. I won't be doing a stream then. Won't be doing a stream next Wednesday potentially, but apart from that, stream should be back to normal. Even Christmas Day, I'm gonna try and bang out a stream sometime. Half an hour, 60 minutes, I don't know, but it won't be long. I'll try and bang out a little stream. It might be really early, just, you know, wake up, get the stream done. Do you ever want to work for Google? No, I've got really no interest in working for Google. You know, I like Google as a company overall, so it's not that. It's just like working for. I know a lot of people have this thing of, you know, working for a big company. Working for Google doesn't bother me. You know, I work for myself, got my own company. If I was gonna work for a company, I'd rather work for, you know, I would love to work for Khan Academy, for example, or work for a small company where, let's say there's only 10 of us, but that means I'm 10% of the workforce. Obviously, it's not quite that, simplistic. One person potentially may be 40% of the effort put in, but if let's just keep it simple. Let me just commit this as well. Good paycheck. Yeah, it is. But at what cost though? Like, I think just because it's Google and you got the ping pong table and the free food, blah de blah de blah, it's still. I mean, it depends what you want to get out of life. I think if you want something more than a desk job, because at the end of the day, that's all Google is. Even if that desk is standing up desk and you get free food, etc., free massages, or free, washing, laundry, that sort of stuff, it is still Google. It is still a desk job. So, yeah, Microsoft. What's it called? What's that term? Fang, is it? Or fag? Fang, is it? I think it's Fang. Facebook. I think it is. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Alphabet. Formerly known as Google. So yeah, like any of those companies. Honestly, if you stick to that plan, working somewhere like those companies, banking a whole heap of money, and then quitting after, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, even 5 years, you can, probably bank a reasonable amount of money. If you do that, dude, that's one of the best ways to go. But if you don't, and you just get stuck into that rat race again of, I'm earning 50k, 100k, $250,000, in America, and more over there. Because I know people that have gone over there and they're earning, some nice, chunk of change, but they're spending most of it, on some epic place to live, on some really nice car, on, expensive clothes, going on holiday all the time. And it's like, okay, but then you're just stuck in the concept of lifestyle inflation. Like this is something really worth reading about. Another way of putting it that I've heard of it is lifestyle creep, as you can see right there. So let's see if there's any good diagrams about it. No, not really, but yeah, the simple concept is I earn X amount, I get a promotion or I get a new job and I earn more. What do most people do? They get a slightly nicer car, they get a slightly nicer place to live, they get slightly more expensive clothes. But what actually happens is, it's like, I've heard people, friends, let's say they're earning £30,000, and they get a bonus at the end of the year, and let's say it's 10%. Obviously, it's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Probably won't be like that. But say they get 10%, 3,000. No, let's not say it's 10%. Let's say they get a bonus. Let's say it's a couple of grand. So it's for somebody that's earning 30k, a couple of k. Obviously, we're not assuming any tax, etc., in this sort of situation scenario. But the concept still applies. What ends up happening is they get that couple of k. And what they don't realise is they really haven't brought value to the company, any realistic value that they deserve that bonus, and that's just hard-coded fact. That bonus is usually there to combat inflation, but because your buying power is less per dollar or per pound or rupee or whatever currency you want to use, what happens when you spend that whole 2k, which a lot of people do on a holiday or towards a new car, or whatever it is, you waste that, you're actually in a worse position. Because even if, let's say, you have on your 30k salary, you have £5,000 left over at the end of the year based on the way you spend, and with your £2,000 bonus, let's say after year 2, you still have £5,000 left over. Because of inflation, that £5,000 is worth less. Obviously, in the gap of a year, the inflation isn't that noticeable. But over years and decades, that really does compound. So, going back to what you were saying, if you do, get job there, or not just there, dude. There's other places to work as well. I've known people that have worked for like a bank or something, banked a reasonable, pun intended, a reasonable amount of money, and then quit. Like, you don't actually need that much money to. Obviously, it depends what country you're in, what city you're in, what state, blah 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 blah. But then I would argue, move to a different city, move to a different state. Again, I'm not saying go to live in somewhere that's really run down. You just don't have to live somewhere that's really expensive. Like in the UK, I don't live in London. I visited London loads of the time. I used to visit it pretty regularly before the lockdown or all the corona stuff that happened. Last time I went was in February, but to live there is just so expensive. But the salary isn't in line with the cost of getting a house there, or the cost of living there. So I was like, live somewhere else. I live in the West Midlands in the UK, which is, for those of you that'll watch Peaky Blinders, where that's it. I don't live in Birmingham, but I live near Birmingham, so that sort of area. I find that funny that because people that watch Peaky Blinders, they sort of know the areas that I'm near or from now as a result of that. Before that, if I'd said where I'm from or near where I'm from, they would be like, nah, I don't know. But because of Peaky Blinders, a lot more people do know. Okay, what are your sources of income? I'll cover that in a second. Yeah, I would like to work for a FANG for 5 years, then make my own game dev company. Just apply for a job at Epic Games. Wish me luck. Good luck, semicolon. Yeah, good luck. Well, where is it? Because obviously they got multiple offices. I'm guessing somewhere in America, most likely. But curious to know. Thanks. Where's the Pixelpat asked the same question. Where's the Epic Game job located? I don't know, but I'm applying for a remote job. Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot more remote jobs now. And obviously, as a Rocket League developer, Rocket League is still going on. Okay, so before I answer your questions 1, 2, I just want to help bank 21 kilohertz. I was in the middle of checking that out. Yeah, but lifestyle inflation, definitely check that out. It's easy to get trapped into that, really easy. It's like one of the easy ways to save money: don't buy clothes that you don't really need. Like, I haven't really bought any large amount of clothes for ages. Like this t-shirt I've had for 10 years. Dude, it still looks brand new. You just look after what you've got. I think, the few areas I do spend money on is tech. But even then, I'll try and get a bargain or, within reason. Set a budget. That's another big thing. Okay, but yeah. So we've got the official website. Have you tried the official website? Doing it via this. So I'm going to link this just in case you haven't used this. Where was he? Bank. So try that. If you haven't, let me know. FUS? First? Where do you live? Semi. Okay, cool. Okay, 1, 2 is asking what are your sources of income. So a few different things. I do earn a little bit of money from YouTube. Trust me, it's not a lot. I don't even take it out to my registered company. It's that minimal. I just use that to pay the expenses of the company, like website hosting, like having a business bank account. It's not much, but like in the UK, for the bank account that I got, it costs £5.50 a month. So but again, there are these sort of expenses here and there. I've got expenses for Google Apps for Business, that sort of stuff. So I just leave that there, and so that just covers that. I make a bit of money off Udemy, make a bit of money off other online educational websites. I do some teaching at a local college, not for a class, just one-on-one with one student. It's actually very interesting. So a role I teach a blind student computer science. Obviously it's different to how you would normally teach. So I earn money from that and just hustling and just trying to make money. However, like buying and selling stuff, the stuff that I see that's in demand and in low supply, I'll try and get something, buy it and sell it. So yeah, try and do anything I can to stay out of a 9 to 5 job, and on the road to, you know, becoming a millionaire, billionaire, and the ultimate one, trillionaire with a T, but slowly getting there. As long as I can stay out of a, you know, a 9 to 5. I'm following a guide that clones SFML from GitHub, but that's just the X32 version. Let me try and find something off YouTube. What was I want to search for? SFML x64 CMake. Yes, that's been committed. I haven't really done it, but I want to assume the difference between 64 and 32-bit isn't that major. Well, this guy's on a Snake game, or he started. Let's have a look if he actually completed it.
It did.
Did he post the code on GitHub? Doesn't look like it. Yes, here's the. Oh no, he did. I apologize to him for semi-hating on him for not posting it. He did. What's he using? He's using C++. That's the main. See what's in there. Yeah, he's using SFML here. Let's include. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I was gonna look for GitHub Tetris, and I was also gonna look for Tetris C++. See what sort of guides people have put out from there. I've seen this before, like on there. Tetris. Nah, obviously that's sped up. Means really there isn't anywhere. They're just spending. You know, okay, you know, Tetris is pretty complex to do a decent implementation. Spending a good amount of time and just, well, making it, and then giving you the code. Okay, we got this. Okay. This guy's done
Game over. Clap.
making funny noises. Okay, this guy's done it. But again, you know, not a huge amount.
Hello.
So he's doing it in the console, the terminal. So impressive.
Yo, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? My name is Avery.
Let's type in SFML. Somebody must have done. SFML is big enough to have warranted it. Let's have a quick scan. Again, we're not going to be doing any game stuff for a while. Okay, so I'm following a guide that clones SFML. What happened was Lira. Rocket League is on its way out, not a bad idea. What are your goals in life? So my goals, one of them is to make as much money as possible. I think a lot of people choose not to admit that. They try and make it out that they're altruistic, they're, goody, I won't say goody two shoes, they're so moral and ethical. No, I try and be a good person as well, but my goal is to make a lot of money. After that, make sure it's multi-generational, invested in assets, so my kids and grandkids, etc., are taken care of. No, I want my money to become eventually old money, so it's like you just compound and build like really big wealth. So that's the financial side of it. What's the side of it? Stay out of a 9 to 5, build companies, and make them monopolize industries. Like anyone that says they don't like monopolies aren't running a company trying to make it a success, really make it a success. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want as a company owner, is to have a monopoly. As a consumer, you don't want that. So like, as a business owner, let's say I'm doing education, obviously I do believe that having a multiple people providing content is good for people. But if I could flick a switch that made me the dominant education platform provider in the world, you think I wouldn't do that? Of course I would. But obviously, as a consumer of education, I would say it is better to have multiple sources of education, multiple platforms, multiple providers, multiple content providers, and different mediums. So it depends on how you're looking at it. So that I want to build companies. Obviously as I'm getting older, 29 now, 29 10 days ago. Obviously I'm thinking more about stuff like family. So have a family. Obviously getting to a level of, the mic is not centered. I don't want that. Put the mic in the webcam. Make enough money that I don't have to worry about money, and the investments just generate enough income, more than enough income that I can do what I want. If I want to travel. If I want to work. I want to be in a position where if I want to work on a project, whether it's me or with other people, for 6 to, let's say, 24 months, so half a year to 2 years, without earning any money from it, I want to be able to do that and not think about the money side of it. That's like what I'm doing with this game engine, but I couldn't do this a few years ago because I was building up certain other level areas of the business that would bring me in some money. Now that I do have, some, I'm not say super steady, but revenue streams that are coming in that I can devote some time to doing these sort of projects. I've said this game engine coding Livestream is gonna be a multi-month, potentially even a multi-year project. I don't really see myself earning any money, at least in the foreseeable future, from it. So for that reason, it's like you need that other thing as well, and I would love to just be able to do that. I want to be like that millionaire / especially billionaire YouTuber that still makes YouTube videos, and he's not like making them overly overproduced like Will Smith's channel. Nothing like that. It's just me sitting here making coding videos, making educational videos, ranting about finance and philosophy, blah 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 blah. Let's see what other questions we got. Rocket League was just bought by Epic Games and recently has surged of popularity. I assume I will simply have to learn how to use CMake in order to prepare. I would recommend that in general. What do you think about Danny? Whoa, I don't get the reference. Semi, you should be more broad-minded. You just want to work on Rocket League. It's not a bad thing. Domination in industry is only a short-term game. Ultimately, it isn't in the best interest of the consumer or indeed the dominant player. Yes and no. Anyone that's running a company that really wants to make it a success ultimately wants to have a monopoly. Of course they do. Like I think Peter Thiel said it best. I'm not his biggest fan, but I remember he was saying in the video, of course you want to monopolize an industry if you're running in there. Also, I got a placement with a mobile app company. Yeah, that's cool. But like, of course you want to monopolize it. You'll get people out there that are some doing well, some not doing well, but running a company, and they'll say, "Oh no, I don't want to, monopolize. I think loads of competition is good." They don't want that. Nobody wants that when they're running the company. They want to monopolize. For a consumer, that's best, but ultimately, for companies' profits, it isn't. It can be, but when you have that competition, it means you can get knocked off. Because if Yahoo just kept dominating and nobody came about like Google, they would have been far better off. For them, that is. I'm not saying for the consumer, but for them. Google came along, but because of competition, Google has to keep it, changing and adapting. Again, that is good for the consumer. No doubt there. I'm reading this book. Let me grab hold of it. Michael O'Leary, A Life in Flight, about Ryanair, and more specifically Michael O'Leary's part to play in it. I didn't really know much about the Ryanair story. Do you read books? Yeah, so I'm actually showing the book right now, but I'll cover the books I'm currently reading in a second. So yeah, in here the Irish airline industry had one dominant player, and yes, he was great for consumers when Ryanair and other people got involved, but ultimately that did potentially start hurting other companies in certain ways. He benefited them in certain ways, but it just hurt them in other ways. So yeah, the books I'm currently reading, I'm reading John Maynard Keynes' The Essential Keynes, Ready Player 2, really enjoying that. Generally don't read much fiction, mainly non-fiction. I don't know if you can actually even see it on here, but there's a bunch of books here, most of it's non-fiction. Most of them have been read. And the other book is, I always have a 30-second book, 30-second Newton. And the fifth one is Debt, the First 5,000 Years. So I read 5 books at a time. I have X amount of pages or page turns that I want to go through every day. I try and go through them. Let's see what the demo went well today on the 3D game. You can listen to the game theme on Discord now if you want. I have made lots of scores for games, so if you need anyone for Soundtech, I can help. Really appreciate it if you're offering your help to me. At the moment, because we're just doing game engine stuff, don't really need it. But if you keep continuing watching the series in the future, when we get onto games, actually making the game and not just the engine, I'll definitely need your help then. And I'm hoping have other people involved and working on other different aspects of it. That will be cool. That's another thing I haven't seen online. I've seen some live streams or some sort of kind of vlog documentation stuff of making a game, but they usually have been of one person. But I think it'll be interesting not to have a big team, but let's say 2 or 3 people, say 1 or 2 coders, 1 or 2 sort of designers, maybe doing the sound as well, and how they're interacting and the productivity tools they're using to coordinate everything. So I think that'll be interesting. My work right now. Have a nice stream. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your work day. Okay, so we're basically wrapped up with the coding part. Good stuff. Appreciate it, Pixel Pat. Yeah, I haven't done any video game live streams in a while. Need to get back to them as well with the video game stuff. So we'll be looking at Dead Zone stuff tomorrow. I'm interested in the Rumble. Let's have a quick, Google search. No, it's 2015 to be fair. Might be implemented by now. I'm on voice chat now, Discord. Good stuff. Let's open up the Discord. Phone should be reasonably charged by now. Let me take this off. Yeah, I'm just gonna open up Discord, you're saying. Let me see, let's get into the group. Discord. Yeah, there's a bunch, I don't know if there's a bunch of people, but there's something called Podge. And that could be you, to be fair. Probably you. Okay, so the Discord group has 1,112 members currently, slowly growing and growing. Cool. Okay, so you're on the Discord with voice chat. Sweet. Some sort of vibration stuff. Obviously I'll have to look more into this. Yeah, I'll be doing stuff like this soon. The SDL has it. SDL vibration. What is the latest version of SDL? They load another 2 new games every single time from some list of games that have been made with SDL. Yeah, that's it uses SDL for the window creation. That's what Valve uses it for. I think they still use it. If they do, I'm surprised. It's like, you know, at the level they're at, they would have recreated that by now. Just, you know, with their own window rendering stuff. Hello, driver. So yeah, gestures is done. So tomorrow will be Dead Zone on analog sticks. Then rumble, then motion. We're looking into some motion, and then this stuff. And there was something about some bug. I can't remember what this was. It's so long and I didn't properly document it. I'll have to just delete it, and then when I get back to, you know, doing it, you know, potentially making games, then I'll have a look at it. Probably be the debug thing, to be fair. Yeah, I'll do some physics. Okay, blast state. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And let's run that. Shouldn't get any control output apart from one, which should just be 1 or 0 because the controller's off. For some reason that's laggy. It's a bit weird. But yeah, we're going to be looking at Dead Zones tomorrow. Dead Zone. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll try and do a earlier live stream. Really enjoyed the chat today. Had a bunch of great questions. Let's see if there's been any. Not many drop frames, minimal. Okay, I'll get the hint. No, I'll message you on there. Just give me a sec. Okie dokie. Let's stop streaming. Okay then, thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Finally done the gestures now. And we can move on to another part of the input. You know what's going to happen? Do a couple of things in the input. Then there's going to be some other featuring gestures. It's going to take another 10 episodes. This took 15 episodes. So most of the stream